Former Raiders wide receiver Henry Ruggs, he's on special release right now from prison and spoke at this local Hope for Prisoners event. He issued an apology to the family of Tina Tintor, who he killed while driving drunk in a sports car.
One that I wish I can turn back the hands of time. I would love for them to meet the real Henry Ruggs and not the one that was escaping from something.
Hey, what it do, man? Look, check it out. It's your boy, Mr. 1%, and we back right here on the 1% Network, and we got some big news coming in for you today, man. So Henry Ruggs, right? That's right. First round draft pick out of Alabama. He played 2 seasons in the NFL. He got into a little trouble, well, some big trouble, not a little trouble. Let me rephrase that. Got into some big trouble. He ended up getting arrested and doing some time. You know, he's doing some time, and it's looking like he'll be released within the next year or so. And the big question going around the NFL is, do you think Henry Ruggs deserves a second chance in the NFL, a second shot to run some routes, second shot to catch some touchdowns, or do you think that it's over for him, right? So that's the question. That's what we're going to get into today. Do you think Henry Ruggs deserves a second chance, or do you think it's over for him? Now, right, quick little background on Ruggs himself, right? Like I said, coming out of Alabama, man, was a stud. First round draft pick to the Las Vegas Raiders right when they first moved to Las Vegas. You know, got that new big stadium out there. Ruggs, a speedster guy, you know, was expected to come in and do kind of the same thing as the Alabama guys, the Waddles, the Devontae Smiths, you know, even like the boy up in Detroit, Jameson, you know, after he transferred from Ohio State down to Alabama. You know, those guys are producing, doing really well in the NFL, and Ruggs was a part of that. You know, he was one of those guys. You know, Jerry Jeudy was also on that team down there in Alabama. Great team, great organization with Nick Saban. You know, like I said, won a national championship, and then ends up, you know, being a first round draft pick. Now, going into his 2 seasons with the Raiders, he was productive, made a lot of plays, having about 50 catches over those 2 seasons, a handful of touchdowns, averaging about 20 yards a catch. So he was up and coming, man. Ruggs was definitely going to be a guy to keep your eyes on. Definitely would be a beautiful piece to have right now with Genty and those guys in Las Vegas. So it's understandable, you know, his thought process on coming back, you know, hopefully coming back to be a Raider. So recently, Henry Ruggs was granted a special release to speak at the Hope for Prisoners in Las Vegas, and he got to go out there. He did a great apology to the family over the incident. And if you don't know the incident, Henry Ruggs was leaving somewhere, you know, late at night. You know, young guys get a lot of money. They get these fancy cars, you know, these speedster cars. And, you know, I think he was like leaving the 7-Eleven or something and driving extremely too fast, end up causing an accident, end up passing away, man. And that's just a terrible situation for both parties to be in. You know, we definitely want to send our prayers out to the family, condolences, like we said. It's just, it's sick and sad to think about, man. Like I said, young guys getting a lot of money. I think this is definitely a lesson that a lot of the college guys, NIL, can learn from. This has happened actually a lot. If you're tuned into the college recruiting, college sports, guys get these big car deals, you know, go to college and end up, you know, having incidents and causing accidents. And sometimes it actually resolves in a death, man. So, like we said, we want to send our prayers out to the family, and definitely I hope all the young guys paid attention to what Ruggs is saying, what Ruggs is going through right now, because your life can change in an instant, you know, for the good or the bad. You know, he could have also, you know, perished away, you know, in that incident. I know those thoughts go through his head, you know, his family, his mom and dad, everybody, you know, happy for him to be here with us right now, but definitely understand the situation that he put himself in, you know, when he could have been, you know, doing the speed limit and going to football practice the next day, you know, continuing to live his life. So that's definitely a lesson learned for you young guys. Please pay attention. Pay attention, man. Pay attention. It can happen to anyone. You know, everybody want to get the fancy drip, you know what I'm saying? Put the chains on and all that. But you got to do it the right way. You know, you got to do it the right way. And there's some good examples out there. You got A.J. Brown and, again, Jalen Hurts, another guy that played at Alabama, but does it the right way. You know, take your time, man. It's a long life to live. You guys got a long, beautiful life, you know, a long football journey as well to keep playing. And we want to see you out there on the field, man. So please take heed heed to this and listen to the situation. So, like I said, man, Ruggs, you know, for the first time since the incident, he just came out and he spoke, and he did a great apology to the family. He looks good, looked like he's in shape. There has been reports of him training, you know, being allowed to keep his routes up, keep his body in shape, you know, nutrition-wise and things of that nature while he's in the locked up out there in Las Vegas, hoping he'll be able to be a Raider again. Now, do I think he deserves a second chance? Yes. Yes, I do. You know, like I said, he's not a violent kid. Always done things the right way. But like I said, having that money and, you know, so many things at your disposal, you know, is also a life lesson to learn. And unfortunately, he had to learn his this way. I know guys that, you know, went through other things and had to learn it different ways and learn how to protect yourself, you know, mentally and physically. But like I said, at the same time, man, I got to see Michael Vick go to jail, you know, for some situations, and he ended up coming back and having a great NFL career after that, and now is a college football head coach, right, down in Norfolk State. So I don't see why not. You know, if you go in there and you come out rehabilitated, and like I say, obviously, you know, he's doing what he needs to do, staying out of trouble, if they released him to come out and talk, you know, to the community, to the prisoners. And I love to see him in regular clothes, you know, looking like a human being. So, you know, I think that there is a future for him, and teams could definitely use him. You know, one thing you can't teach is speed, you know, and he knows that, you know, he has speed, also in how to win. You know, he's a winner coming from Alabama, you know, has a great record behind him. I think Nick Saban, you know, the Jalen Hurts, the Devontae Smiths, the Jerry Judys, the fellow Alabama guys will definitely speak up for his character, and they already have. You know, if you've been, like I say, tuned into the recruiting, tuned into the all the podcasts, the football guys doing a wonderful job right now, talking, getting their stories out. So yeah, man, I think he definitely deserves a second chance. Let me know what you think down there in the comments. You know, if you disagree, you know, I understand that too, you know, but like I say, let me know what you think, man. I think everybody deserves a fair shot, and I'm here for Ruggs. Like I say, he actually looks better right now than he did, you know, previously before he went in there. You know, before he went in there, a lot of stress, you know, a young guy, a lot of money, dealing with, you know, relationships, different things going on, but it looks like things have been able to slow down, and, you know, he looks in shape. He's been continuing his routine in there, so I'm excited to see him, man. Like I said, if he's rehabilitated and took the proper steps that he needs to take, and obviously he has, if they letting him come out and speak to the community, coming out in regular clothes, like, it was a good thing to see, man. He wasn't all chained up, you know, so he's not being mistreated, you know, look like his mental is still intact. So I'm here for it, man. So let me know what you think. That's what we got, you know, that's what we got right now for the day. Henry Ruggs, does he deserve a second shot in the NFL? I think so. Let me know what you think. Please, man, drop your likes, comments, share. Help your boy out, man. Put this joint out there, man. Come on. We out.